Kraft Heinz is an American food company that was formed by the merger of Kraft Food and Heinz. Kraft Heinz is the third largest food and beverage company in North America and the fifth largest in the world. Some of their iconic brands include Kraft, Heinz, Oscar Mayer's, Jell-O, and Maxwell House. Kraft Heinz is run by a board of directors that consists of 11 people from all different backgrounds and is run by their Chief Executive Officer, Bernardo Hees. Not only is Kraft Heinz focused on being a leader in the food industry, but they're also focused on being a leader in the global community. Kraft Heinz is an advocate for ending world hunger, and they have also focused their efforts on making their production process green and more environmentally friendly. First, my team performed a global steeple analysis, which consists of an analysis of the socio-cultural, political and legal, environmental, technological, and economic factors that affect Kraft Heinz as a company. There are a few factors that are more important than others when analyzing the global environment. The first factor to put your attention on is the socio-cultural domain. Socio-cultural factors are changes in attitudes and cultural values, which include both demographics and psychographics. Some examples of demographic factors are race, education, and income levels. A few examples of psychographic factors are values, lifestyle, and attitudes. The first sociocultural factor that affects Kraft Heinz is that consumers are focusing on buying foods with higher quality ingredients. There has been a large focus on food safety and education that has created this trend. Attention to ingredients also stems from specialty diets such as gluten-free diets and the popular keto diet. The next important sociocultural factor that would affect Kraft Heinz globally is the increase in fast-paced lifestyles. Consumers now need meals that they can make on average in 20 minutes because they no longer have the time to plan and cook meals. An important note that Kraft Heinz needs to keep in mind is that customers are not willing to abandon a healthier lifestyle when living a faster-paced lifestyle. Currently, Kraft Heinz does offer easy-to-make foods, but they are not made with high-quality, healthy ingredients. The second domain of the global steeple analysis that Kraft Heinz should focus on is the political and legal domain. The political and legal domain includes factors such as taxation, regulations, and lobbying. The most important legal factor that Kraft Heinz would be affected by is the increased regulations on food labeling and quality of ingredients a company can put in their food. Kraft Heinz would have to ensure that the hundreds of products they sell would be up to regulation in order to sell their products outside of the United States. Every country has their own set of rules that companies have to follow when it comes to labeling their products and the quality of ingredients they use in their food products. One issue the company would run into is the amount of time Kraft Heinz would have to put into researching and implementing each regulation into their products. The third and final domain that heavily affects Kraft Heinz is the technological domain. Technology plays a major role in companies being able to innovate new products as well as create safe foods for consumers to eat. The first technological factor that affects Kraft Heinz is the regulations placed on the production process that the company must comply with. For example, there must be manufacturing equipment that does not manufacture food containing gluten, eggs, or tree nuts. This would increase the amount of equipment Kraft Heinz would need in each manufacturing plant. The next technological factor is the rapid growth of the internet. Online food and grocery shopping is a major trend, and Kraft Heinz needs to start thinking about partnering with an online retailer such as Amazon. This could be a difficult task for the company to accomplish, but it would open the door to a new group of customers as they could reach more customers globally. Next, my team completed a global Porter analysis. The first factor is the power of rivals. Kraft Heinz operates in the food manufacturing industry. They have many competitors that can be considered close rivals within their industry. The intensity of rivalry increases when there are numerous, closely balanced competitors, there are high fixed costs, and strategic stakes are high. All three of these aspects are present within the industry, creating intense rivalries for Kraft Heinz. Large competitors are moving towards healthier products and better packaging. Kraft Heinz needs to stay updated with these trends or they will fail when matched up against their rivals. There is also a high amount of substitutes provided by rivals. Specific companies such as General Mills and Nestle provide a wide array of products that can easily substitute for the products Kraft Heinz creates. Customer loyalty is also disregarded if ingredients are seen as poor quality. Even though customers may have purchased from Kraft Heinz in the past, they have little loyalty with the amount of innovative products now entering the marketplace. The second factor is the power of new entrants. One of the largest challenges facing Kraft Heinz is the fact that Amazon is a new entrant. This is an issue because Amazon is offering savings and cash back for anyone who shops at their Whole Foods locations. Kraft Heinz products are not sold at Whole Foods, and Amazon entering the market creates a challenge for the future. Aside from this factor, there are certain industry aspects listed below that make it difficult for new entrants trying to make it in the food manufacturing industry. Capital requirements create a large barrier to entry. Expensive equipment is needed to produce packaged food items. Next, economies of scale act as another barrier to entry. All of the top competitors in the industry utilize economies of scale while selling millions of units. There are also heavy regulations on food manufacturing companies. It's difficult for new entrants to keep track and abide by all regulations. The third factor is the power of substitutes. The threat of substitutes increases when the substitute's price is lower and when the product quality is similar to the existing products. The condiment industry is growing in other countries. This means that there are more substitutes and buyers less likely to buy from Kraft Heinz. This factors also increase when substitutes are locally produced and of high quality. Customers worldwide are trying to substitute for sugary products. This is a problem for Kraft Heinz due to the fact that most of their products that they create contain high amounts of sugar. Customers are also focusing on all-natural foods versus manufactured foods. This trend will lead customers to other substitutes. The fourth factor is the power of suppliers. Suppliers hold one of the biggest keys to companies being able to produce their products and reaching deadlines. Kraft Heinz, in particular, has set principles and criteria that have to be met by the suppliers before they are able to even be considered as a supplier. This is to ensure that these supplier companies are following health regulations as well as the proper food safety. Since Kraft has a high demand to be met, they have more suppliers that depend on them because of the value that they hold in their purchase. Kraft Heinz needs to collaborate with key suppliers to drive innovation and establish sustainable marketing strategies needed to anticipate rapid changes both in consumer taste and in ingredient availability. Fortunately, Kraft Heinz doesn't depend on any supplier due to the power that they have over the suppliers in the food and beverage industry. There are several choices that Kraft Heinz could use. The fifth and final factor of the Porter analysis is the power of buyers. Buyers in the food and beverage industry are demanding a vast amount of products for a low price. Companies like Kraft Heinz have to adapt to these requests in order to maintain the bargain with companies. As discussed previously, a powerful buyer Kraft Heinz will have to consider in order to compete globally is Amazon. Amazon will have the power when it comes to negotiating the prices of Kraft Heinz products, which can make it difficult for Kraft Heinz to make company decisions. Although there is that difficulty presented for Kraft Heinz, the amount of customers they could reach through an online retailer would outweigh that cost. Overall, it is important that Kraft Heinz consider both the Steeple and Porter analysis when making global decisions. In our team's opinion, it would be difficult for Kraft Heinz to be successful globally, but it would not be impossible as long as they keep both of these analyses in mind.